It's Vijaya on Mirchi's Immigration Hour, brought to you by the NPZ Law Group, the business and family immigration law firm representing clients from throughout the US and around the world. Joining me is barrister, solicitor, and Canadian attorney Gaganjot Mundra. Welcome, Gagan.
Thank you, Vijaya. Thank you for having us on your show.
Thank you so much for being here, Gagan. So, Canada just announced a new policy on foreign workers. Could you share some more information on this?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been in news and everywhere. It's not a policy. It's more the government has announced its stand, and it's a stand on temporary foreign workers as well as on employer compliance. Mm-hmm. Now, this announcement was made earlier this month, something around October 6th, I believe, where the government said that it will be reducing usage of temporary foreign workers as well as increased penalties to the employers. Now, this announcement has its two components. One is, of course, the temporary foreign workers, and also the government is hitting on to the employer compliance and making it more stringent for the employers to follow the pathway when they are hiring temporary foreign workers. Now, with the first component, when the government announces that it's focusing to reduce temporary foreign workers, and they are actually indicating about work permit holders or even non-study permit holders who would eventually be on postgrad work permit. That's the focus of the government in this announcement. Having said that, we believe that this was already practiced by the government some time ago. They started last year in 2024 that this kind of a practice was in motion, where they are going to give a priority to Canadian citizens, permanent residents, before offering any positions to foreign worker. And that's been a regiment since last year. Nothing so new about it. Now it's more focused. Now it's more clear outlined in their policies and in their announcements. That's what we are seeing. And also in this same announcement, they also mentioned that temporary foreign workers make about 1% of Canadian workforce. So that's really a small number there. And that has already resulted about 50% reduction in overall applications and 70% reduction in low wage stream. So this has again happened since last year, when they have been focusing on removing the fraud that was going on with LMIAs. And that's one of the reasons that low-wage LMIA was stopped, and it's still not active yet. And that was the major reason that the government started switching their gears and making temporary foreign worker policies more stringent and more scrutiny out there. Mm-hmm. The second component comes with the employer compliance regime. Now, the employers, when they are hiring temporary foreign workers, they have to ensure that there's health, safety, there's a dignified working conditions, they comply with federal and provincial laws, the workplace is free of abuse, and the wages are the same what they promised when they hired the foreign worker. So they cannot randomly change the positions, cannot randomly change the wages just in the middle of their work journey with the employer. So the employer has to follow certain processes, and this could always be found if the government does their surprise audits. Or they just send an email asking the employer to provide all the information about the temporary foreign workers. Now, Vijay, it's so interesting to see that recently one of the franchise of Canadian Tire in Toronto, they were fined about $100,000 for not following and not remaining compliant with foreign workers. Whoa. They found that the wages that they had promised initially was not the same. The employer failed to provide them with any the LMIA job offered letters. So that became really an issue, and they were fined about $100,000 in addition for not being, they will not be even allowed to hire temporary foreign workers for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are seeing the execution of such policies also. And again, this was always there. Now the execution part, we are seeing it more active and more clearly out there. So then that just sends a message down to other small employers or medium-sized employers that yes, employer compliance has to be followed. It's not one of those issues that they can just jump and they'll think that it's not needed. This is something that has to be done, and it is for at least 6 years they have to maintain that employer file, the HR file, because the question could be asked anytime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, to our listeners, beware that there are a lot of fraud in Canada, and you have to be aware that you don't become victim of such fraud. And Canada is open to work permits, which could be intra-company transfers, significant benefit to Canada, reciprocal employment, and so on. We are still doing our express entry system, and it's still running regular invitations for permanent residencies. You must follow the law.
Yeah.
And be on the right side of the law. It's not just for the foreign workers, but also for the employers in Canada. And it's still open up with for new positions to hire foreign workers. So again, this is not something new. We've always been following. And to our listener, if they are eligible for any of the work permits or any program, just explore that. Don't get intimidated. These are compliance issues, and these are the policies that has always been in practice.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that, Gagan. Appreciate it. And we can see there's more stringency, more scrutiny, and more compliance even in Canadian immigration. But then the NPZ Law Group is there to help, right, through it all. So thank you for that. And if you're feeling stuck and stationary in the US and Canadian immigration law maze, reach out to the NPZ Law Group. They're there to help you. Visit visaserve.com or call them at 201-670-0006 and mention Mirchi to get a special discount off your consult. More very relevant and key pointers on immigration law with the NPZ Law Group attorneys coming up in just a bit. Stay with us on Mirchi. It's hot.